Quit being the world's best kept secret. Your time is now.
Welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we'll be discussing leadership, business, human potential, inspiring you to live rich from the inside out. Unlock your creativity, stretch out of your comfort zone, break through your barriers, take inspired action, and achieve epic results. Now here's your host, three-time best-selling author, speaker, and certified executive coach, Debra Kasowski.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Millionaire Woman Show. I am so grateful that you are here. Whether you are returning or it's your first time, please welcome. And make sure you check out some of our other episodes featuring some of our fantastic guests that have been sharing their wisdom to help inspire, educate, and motivate you to live a life rich from the inside out. Today, I want to start off today's episode with my sponsor, actually me, sharing with you my book called Let's Be Curious. Ask the right questions, get better answers, and create what you want. So in this book, you're going to be able to unlock your imagination of all the possibilities available to you. You're going to challenge those assumptions that could be sabotaging you. Quit beating around the bush and ask the question you know needs to be asked. And ask questions that matter. Put aside the judgment because it's holding you back and relieve any anxiety and frustration. So this book, Let's Be Curious, can be found at Barnes & Noble, Indigo Chapters, Books A Million, and where your favorite bookstore is. As well as, don't forget, you can hop onto Amazon and you can find Let's Be Curious there. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to be talking about stay humble, stay hungry. And I am, featuring this episode because one of the followers, Laura, had reached out to me and said, you know what, I'd like to see a podcast or a video on being humble. And, it's a very admirable quality that when we think about being humble or having humility, that we look at it as a place of a stepping stone. So what does it really mean to be humble? And, researchers have said that those who are humble have really a true, accurate version of themselves. They see themselves clearly. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And it's a form of modestness without excessive pride. And, you'll hear the phrase, be humble and kind. There's even a country song about being humble and kind. And it's really about doing things out of kindness without expectation, to really be able to do something without expecting recognition. And being humble is about focusing on the impact or the difference you can make versus who you are becoming. And, when I think of humility and I think about humbleness, it's such an important quality. And I think where people steer wrong about it is when it comes to what we call shameless self-promotion. So shameless self-promotion is being able to promote yourself with confidence that you have the ability and skill set to help someone. And often people get confused with that shameless self-promotion as a form of bragging. And now, when you think about bragging is really thinking that you're better than everyone else and that you're using it in such a way to make others feel less than or push them down. And, shameless self-promotion is not about that. It is about showcasing your skills, talents, and abilities so that people will do business with you, so they have the credibility, the authority, that you are a form of influence that they truly want to work with. So really what one does to truly humble themselves, which also helps accelerate your success, is asking for feedback from others and being open to receiving it. Because sometimes you don't want to hear what other people have to offer you feedback. Now, on the other flip of the coin, I also want you to think about, where is this feedback coming from? Is it genuine feedback? Is it intentionally to support and help me improve? Or is it just a dig? And when you think about that feedback that's just a dig, that's not the feedback you need to hang on to. It's not the feedback you need to internalize. So when you're looking at feedback, I want to remind people when it comes to feedback, make sure you go to the episode about receiving feedback. It is really important to look at the feedback. Where's the source? Is it meant to be helpful? If not, toss it. Toss it out. You do not need to internalize every piece of feedback you receive. It's just like when you're weighing information to make a decision. Some information is going to be helpful. Some is not going to be helpful. And the same thing with feedback. So I want you to think about the feedback you receive, being open to it, and realizing that you can filter it to see what is going to actually help you. And also, I think what people realize when they humble themselves is that they accept that, stuff happens, setbacks happen, and that we need to take a step back. And, sometimes it feels like a little bit of a blow, and you need to get back on your feet and move forward. You need to be able to step into taking action. And I think I mentioned on another podcast, but I'm going to mention it here again, that I was talking to a lady recently, and she said, she has a tattoo actually on her foot that said, "Put your shoes on." And I thought that was fascinating. Why would you put your shoes on your foot? And what it was for is to remind her that you get outside, you keep going. And that's one of the things with feedback. And when we are put in a place, and sometimes people say, well, I was put in my place by receiving this feedback, is to really take a step back, do some self-reflection. Don't stop moving forward. You need to continually take action. And that's why they say, fail to succeed. You want to be able to continue to take steps of action so that you're actually moving forward. And, recently I was listening to a book called Thoughts Are Thoughts with Bob Proctor. And he was talking about different forms of procrastination. And one of the forms of procrastination is perfection. And it was really eye-opening to me. The way he put it is that in this study that he was referring to, that perfection as a form of procrastination it holds you back from moving forward, obviously, right? You're not going to be taking action. You're holding off as long as possible because you want everything to be perfect. And part of the reason for that is that you do not want to make a mistake because you don't forgive yourself for the mistakes that you make. You beat yourself up and you think that you can't move forward. And instead, what I need you to start doing is thinking, okay, what did I learn from this mistake? What did I learn from this failure? These are stepping stones to your success. You haven't truly failed. You have learned. This is a learning experience. It's all in how you frame it. And that perfection, we need to recover. We need to be able to recover quickly, is what he was saying, so that we can move forward, take the next action based on what we've learned. So this is really important. That's why feedback is a gift. And, feedback doesn't always come in pretty paper and bows, so we often push it away. But it can be so valuable. I remember a few years ago, I was doing my appreciative inquiry certification. And, one of the individuals that was part of my practicum was venting, and it was continually negative. And I went back to the trainers and I said, well, how do you process this? How do you deal with this? And what they were sharing with me is, go back. There's a gift in the feedback. When someone is complaining about something, they often have a vision of how it could be. And when we can step back and look at what they're sharing with us and what is possible and be open to their suggestions and ideas, we can be better. The project can be better when we are open to receiving feedback that could have some value. What we have to do is reframe the negative venting and ask for, okay, share with me what is the ideal. So the same thing when you're asking for feedback, You might have a rating scale. It could be in your relationship. It could be in your project. It could be at work. It could be in your career in different areas or with your customers. How are we on a scale of 0 to 10? What could we do better? Or if this was the ideal company that you were to deal with, what would the things you would expect to see? You notice the shift in languaging, you notice the shift in positivity, because our words create worlds. We want to look for what will make us the ideal. And then we can see, where's the gap? Where can we build from this? And from that, I want you to really think about, with that humbleness of accepting the feedback and seeing where you can improve. We know that we're always having an opportunity to improve. But there is a risk sometimes when people are too humble. When they're too humble, they're not showing up as being confident. They're holding themselves back from doing things, talking themselves out of, someone else is better than me. I can't take the next step. I'm not ready. And they don't speak up when there's an opportunity to really step and grow into who they need to be. So they need to start leaning in. They need to start showing up as confident, speaking up at meetings, or having their voice be heard, whether it be in video format or in written word. And what often happens is when people are too humble, they can be missed for the promotion because they've never shared what they excel at. Sometimes the person that is a decision maker that you have been working for doesn't know all the great things that you have been doing, or in your business. So you need to be able to shamelessly self-promote that you are able to accomplish something, or you've met this target, or these are the key performance indicators and you've met them and you've gone beyond, or you volunteered and these are some of the accomplishments that you've had on the board. If you're not sharing those, you're not going to be up for promotion. People are not going to see you as standing out from the crowd when it comes to selection. And, this is where I see a lot of people fail, especially in job interviews, right? Job interviews are your opportunity to shine, showcase your talents and abilities so that people want to hire you over the next person. There is competition there, but a competition that you're not competing against each other. You're competing to show up as your best self in that interview. So that person has hands down says, you know what, I want that person. They have positive energy. Listen to the language in which they speak. They have a vision and they are driven to succeed. And that's why we say stay humble, but stay hungry, because those people who are hungry actually stay motivated to achieve and compete to be their best. They push themselves to be better. They want to improve. They're driven for success. They keep moving. They put their shoes on and they keep making things happen. They're seizing opportunity. So there is that fine line where people can be arrogant and very much into themselves. But when it comes to someone who is truly coming from a place of humility or being humble, they are more concerned about the impact they make in the world. They are concerned about the difference they are able to make or who they can help versus focusing just on themselves and who they get to become in the process. So really what we're looking for when it comes to those high achievers, those high performers, are they're very comfortable with themselves. They're not insecure. They're confident. They know that they have these talents. And it's almost like a confident humility is a term I've heard. They're willing to take the risks. They're grounded in who they are. They know who they are, their strengths, their weaknesses. They also know where they can improve. And they're present. They practice gratitude. And they know that the more that they're grateful for, the more that there will be gratitude to move forward with. And they're very good at stepping into their potential, because we all know that we're on a journey of growth. We are not meant to stay stagnant. We are continually growing, and we need to often come from a place of empathy, really checking in with people to see how they're reacting to certain things, to be able to be humble and be kind without expectation. We're doing it because we want to make the difference. It's coming truly from servant leadership. It's coming from the heart. It's being very much focused on who you're serving. And you will see this in areas of sales, in marketing, in leadership, in businesses growing. It is about being humble, knowing who you are, where you're at, but also being hungry and focused on where you are going. So as you think about your day today, think about how you are going to lift someone up alongside you, who you might give a referral to for business, who you might be able to send an article to educate, or give them some feedback to motivate, encourage them, or share that growing edge where they can move into who they need to be. It is so powerful when people are coming from a place of good intention to help people grow and step into their potential so that they can be driven to succeed. And when you are driven to succeed, you will stay focused. You will push through those roadblocks and obstacles that seem to be in your way. Because when you are driven from internal drivers, having that desire, as Napoleon Hill talks about, having that desire, you will move forward and do what it takes. Stay humble, stay hungry, keep your eye on the prize, and thank you for joining me here on the Millionaire Woman Show. I'd love for you to go over to my website at www.debrakasowski.com. Right now, you can get your 3-part video course called Making Habits Stick to help you build focus and consistency into your habits, your goals, so you can knock them out of the park and make them a reality. And if you are interested in learning about coaching with me, where I can help you, whether it be that you're going to be speaking on a stage, coaching to write your book, practicing that speech, or, any area of life, leadership, or business, I can certainly help you in taking that step forward into getting out of your own way, making a plan, making that decision, and moving forward into action. Thank you for joining me today. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world, and go out and have a fabulous day.